Hey everyone, welcome to another video, and in this video I'm going to talk about how I purchased my car. So if you do not know already, because I've showed off a little bit, I bought a beautiful RAV4, a Toyota RAV4 recently. It's a used car. It had over 10,000 miles, 10,600 miles when I bought it, and there are reasons why I bought it used and there are reasons why I did not buy any other car. So in this video I'm going to talk all about that. And I financed my car, so I did not obviously pay cash because I don't have that much cash, but I financed the car. Before we go any further into this video is going to be divided into two parts. In the first part, I'll be talking about my whole story, how I purchased the car. In the second video, I'll be talking about some tips and tricks which you should be keeping in mind while buying a car. So before we move any further into the story, let me talk about the numbers because I want to get it out. So this is how much I paid for my car. I paid $3,000 deposit, that was in cash, and then I have a loan from Capital One of $19,947. It's a 72 months loan period. My interest rate is high. That is 6%, and there is a reason for that. I got a really high interest rate because first of all, my credit history is not as long, and also I just joined my company. It's been 6 months. So all of those factors are taken into account, and then they decide that this is the interest rate which you will get. Honestly, I wasn't really worried about it because I know that I'm going to refinance that loan. So within 3 to 6 months, I'm going to refinance it to 2.9%. And yes, interest rates make difference because let's say right now I think I'm gonna pay around $3,400 more over the period of 6 years on this loan. But if I had a 3% interest rate, I would have paid around $1,500 more, or $1,500 to $1,700 more over the period of 6 years, and that is the interest accrued on the principal amount. My principal amount is not the cost of the car. My principal amount is $3,000 minus the cost of the car because I paid $3,000 in deposit in cash. Right now my monthly installments come around $332, which is fine because earlier I had a Chevy Equinox which I was leasing from a guy who runs this side business, and he leases out car. As soon as I moved here, I didn't want to purchase a car because first of all, I wanted to look around. I wanted to see how much I have to drive. I wanted to see like what kind of car I would like, and all of those factors I wanted to count in. Then I decided let's just take this lease, and that lease was actually costing me a shit tons of money. I was paying $385, and I had a limit of 2,000 miles on that car, which is okay if you're not driving that much, but Phoenix is big and I have to go to Tucson every weekend or now and then, and I couldn't take any road trips on that car. Long story short, the reason why I'm buying a car at the first place is because I work on site a lot of time, and Phoenix is a big city. Phoenix is not a city like, let's say, Chicago or New York or San Francisco, where you can easily go around by public transportation. So while I was looking for the cars, when you're looking for some kind of product, that's all you see everywhere. So every day I'm driving, I'm looking at, okay, this is a Ford, this is a Chevy, this is a Kia, this is a BMW, and I would see all of these cars. So my first requirement for buying a car would be, first of all, it should be a SUV or a compact SUV. The reason why I wanted either of those is because, first of all, while I was moving here, I realized that how much space you need to move around cities. I had a lot of my stuff down in Tucson at my girlfriend's place that I had to bring over, and I rented a SUV. So I was wondering, like, if I had to take a long trip or if I had to take a trip with my family, I would need a compact SUV in the first place. Even when my parents come during the time of May, we always rented out a compact SUV because it was more comfortable, there was more luggage space, and I like to drive SUVs. Also, I work on construction sites a lot of times, so it's easier to get in and out. I just like SUVs. It's a personal preference, and I will have so many biases while explaining about the car. When I was looking at all of these cars, so I had Kia Sorento. I'm gonna name some of the cars which you might not even know because they do not exist in India, but in the US there's like Kia Sorento. I was looking at Chevrolet Equinox, Toyota RAV4. I was looking at Honda CRV. I wasn't really attracted towards Honda CRV because my brother-in-law already has it, and he talks really highly of it. But I don't like the design of it. If he's watching that, I'm sorry about that, but I don't really like the design of the CRV. It's a great car, I'm not saying, but I don't like this design. So those were a couple of cars which I was looking at. I was also looking at Jeep Cherokee, and every day I used to go to all these dealerships after work and check out each of the cars. Personally, I didn't like it that much, and then I was looking at RAV4 as well. We went on one of the Sundays and we spent 7 hours negotiating with the guy. So one thing I hate about these dealerships are that these sales guys make a lot of money in commission, most of their salaries. They have a lot of incentive to really sell you the car. Well, I went there and he added all these like mud guards and tint and this and that, and you need all these rails and stuff, and then extra warranty as well. It was coming out to be $32,000, and I did the numbers for $32,000. If I would have bought a car for $32,000, that would have cost me per month around $500. And then you add insurance. It would anywhere run me between $500 to $700 per month, and right now I definitely cannot afford that. So I started looking at. So the problem with the 2019 RAV4s were that they're a high selling vehicle. It's like people really want that, and as soon as they come used, they will sell off. So I looked into a lot of used ones, but they would sell off really quick, and they were expensive as well, because a lot of those models which were selling secondhand were XLE, like higher end models, so they were expensive at the first place. So I'm still looking. At one point of time, somebody had told me that Enterprise, Hertz, Dollar, all of these rental companies also sell a car. Also sell their cars because they have to liquidate their fleet. So I was like, okay, I'll check it out. I looked into Enterprise and they did not have any good SUVs, so I went and checked at Hertz dealership. I was driving a rental at that time because my lease was over. It was 3 months and it was over at that time. So I was like, okay, 3 weeks I'm gonna invest in a rental vehicle. I already have insurance, so it's not gonna run me that much. I got the rental and I started driving it and to all these dealerships. One evening after work, I go to Hertz dealership and I was going to see the Nissan Rogue. It's also an SUV. I drove the car. I didn't really like it. I somewhat liked it, but I wasn't really sure about that car. I told the dealer that, hey, I was really looking forward to buy a Toyota RAV4, but I couldn't find something which was cheap. All of the RAV4s which are selling are a bit expensive for my budget. He's like, dude, we have a RAV4 right now, but it's a pending sale. Like somebody came in and they decided that they will come later and buy it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna check it out. He showed me the car. I loved it. I told him that if it doesn't sell, I'm gonna come tomorrow and buy it. Now the great thing about Hertz dealership is that, first of all, there's no haggle price. So they will not try to upsell you, or they will not try to like push you that, hey, get this car, do this. Like you can add this also, tents also, mudguards also. I was so stressed after that one visit at like a fancy at a Toyota dealership. I really didn't want to go back to that place. So he said, okay, if another one comes up, I'm gonna let you know. Next day I got a call that the one which you saw yesterday, the RAV4, is already sold, but something will come up and I'll let you know. And in the meantime, I was like, okay, something might come up. Within 2-3 days, he calls me again. He's like, sir, there's a RAV4 which came through. Why don't you come and look at it in the evening? I'm like, all right, let me do that. I went in the evening. There's a rent to buy program of Hertz, which is great. What you can do in that one is like you can rent a car, any of the cars which they are selling, and then if you like it, within 3 days, you can purchase it. So if you do not like it, you don't have to purchase it. You just pay $50 per day of rental and that's all it. But if you like it, you can just purchase it and they would waive off the fees. I did that. I also ran a pre-purchase inspection at a Toyota dealership just to make sure. So this car was $23,000 with tax, fees and everything. It was a bit low as compared to all of the other dealerships I was looking at for RAV4s. So I went and got a pre-purchase inspection done. They said, so the car is fine. You still have 26,000 miles worth of warranty on this. You can perfectly buy it. Here's your report. They did machine test and all of that stuff. In the evening, I go after work. I'm like, okay, here are all my documents. I'm gonna pay you $3,000 in cash, and get me approved for a loan. I'm gonna take this car out, and that's what I did. Whew, wow, I spoke a lot, I feel like. So that's what I did, and I absolutely love it. One thing which I notice is all these dealerships try to upsell you on small things like tint and stuff. It's not expensive to get a tint. It's like they try to sell it to you for $500, but you can get it for 200 or 300 at a mechanic's shop. So do not get into that kind of trap. But I'm gonna end this video right here, and I'm gonna film another video, the second part of this, where I'm gonna talk about what you should be looking at if you're planning to buy a car next. But that's about it. Thank you so much guys for watching, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye.